Today is March 30th, 1897. We are broadcasting from an undisclosed location because our guest has a lot of enemies in the Old South who may still have a score to settle with her. We are at the home of one of the most famous conductors of the Underground Railroad. She has been a former slave, a nurse for the Army, a spy, and a scout during the Civil War. Welcome, please, Miss Harriet Tubman. Hello, Miss Tubman. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
I understand Congress has finally awarded you a pension for $20 a month for your wartime services.
Oh, yes. I'm going to use that money every month and send it to my old parents so they can find something to live on for the rest of their life.
That's very sweet and considerate. Now, you're primarily known for your work with the Underground Railroad under the name General Tubman. Now, how did your career in that field get started?
In 1849, I was going to be sold down the river, you know, that Louisiana, so that I escaped to Philadelphia, but I have to come back and rescue my father, my mother. So I decided to become a guide, help others, and I joined the Underground Railroad. And I always work alone.
All right. Now, a conductor is different from a station master, correct?
Oh, yes, there is a difference. The conductor is responsible to carry the fugitive from hideout to hideout. And the station master is responsible to take care of the hideout and sometimes the clothing, food, and sometimes disguise for them.
Oh, I see. Now, in your career, how many slaves did you help escape?
Well, Mr. Softwater, I really never count, but I think maybe 300 or so, because I took 19 trips down to Maryland, and every time I bring some slave with me, and we never got caught.
Volumes 1 through 10, On the Road to the Abolition of Slavery. Volumes 1 and 2, Introduction, On the Road to the Abolition of Slavery. Slavery explained in the words, writing, and songs of contemporary politicians, abolitionists, slaves, pro-slavery advocates, and others. Volume 3, Politics, On the Road to the Abolition of Slavery. The Institution of Slavery and How It Was Written into the U.S. Constitution. Volume 4, Heroes and Heroines, On the Road to the Abolition of Slavery. Liberated from the shackles of slavery, countless slaves made extraordinary contributions to society. Volume 5, Obstacles, On the Road to the Abolition of Slavery. Slavery, culturally entrenched and protected by religious, political, and social obstacles. Volume 6, Martyrs, On the Road to the Abolition of Slavery. People black and white gave their lives in the fight for freedom from slavery. Volume 7, Kidnappers and Justice, On the Road to the Abolition of Slavery. The law protected slavery, and the scales of justice were in favor of the slave owners. Harriet Beecher Stowe, The Evil of Slavery. Stowe reveals the people and the conditions that inspired her explosive novel about slavery and life in the South. Volume 8, The Legacy of What Slavery Left Behind. War-ravaged people struggle to rebuild their society and come to terms with the repercussion of slavery after the Civil War. Volume 9, Those Dedicated Angels, On the Road to the Abolition of Slavery. Recognizing the work of 12 abolitionists whose extraordinary dedication helped to free the enslaved, these are the people who fought for a higher standard of mankind. Volume 10, coming soon, summer 2013. The Beginning of Slavery. Indentured servants and the transatlantic slave trade. Colonial plantations needed labor. more orphans, loose women, convicts, and Quakers than the Old World could send as indentured servants. So the colonists looked to Africa, and the transatlantic slave trade thrived for 450 years.